Welcome back. We're back again with another documentation of Fndlang. Here we got arithmetic operators in Fndlang. To start using arithmetic operators in Fndlang, you have to make sure you include this library, which gives you the ability of doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, moduluses, increment, decrements. Here's a quick example. We got 1 plus 1, blah, 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 3/3 of the beginning, and so on. So this is the most important part that I want to talk about. So here we got a postfix, which means first it keeps a copy of the current value, and then it increases the value, and then it returns the previous value. That is what postfix does. And then we have prefix. The prefix version has the plus plus at the start, and the postfix has the plus plus at the end. So this means when you have the plus plus at the start, it will increase the value and then return it back. You could also do the same thing when you're using minus. So this is minus minus. This is also a postfix version. As you see, it's the same thing as plus plus, but it's just that it's using minus minus instead of plus plus. Same thing with the prefix of the minus minus version. First, it keeps the postfix keeps a copy of the current value and then increases the main value, and then it returns the copy of the previous value that it had, which is going to be 20. This doesn't mean that the this doesn't mean that it will return the value first and then later on somehow in a different thread it will go ahead and change that value to 19, for example. That's not how it works in the background. In the background, all that it does is that it keeps a copy of the current value and then performs the operation basically. So in this case, if you're working with postfix, there could be a problem if you're using, like, if you're running multiple threads, in your program, because of how it operates, right? You wouldn't know you wouldn't really know what the value is, because by default, like I said, it keeps a copy of the value and then changes that value. So it doesn't this happens like synchronously. It's not a synchronous operation. So it could be a problem if you're working with multiple threads that are accessing the data that is currently being modified. But other than that, if you're working with a single thread, and this is only if you're working with referenced variables. So if I give it a raw data like this is not a problem. But if I give it x and I do x plus plus, because x points to it's a variable that holds the value, this could be a problem if I'm referring back to x in also a different thread, basically, where I'm using x for some other thing. So yeah, that's one thing you need to look out for, I guess. But other than that, it's all good. That's how you work with automatics operators, in Finland. Always got to make sure you include this library before you do anything. Of course, you also have to include another another thing that it needs, which is the import key. Without the import key, it's not going to be able to perform these operations. So you got to include two things: the import and the lead.expr to get this going. So that is what Fndlang is for you guys. Thanks for watching this document. I will see you guys on the next one. Okay. Blah, 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 blah.